Hey everyone, Connie here, and welcome to another episode of Nostalgia Week, Anime Edition. So, today we will be talking about a show that I watched all the time growing up on Adult Swim, actually, and a show that I just have continued to enjoy, but never really continued actively watching. And that is Detective Conan, also known as Case Closed.
100年ぶりの世紀末だけと言われて僕は笑った
Detective Conan is a detective series, obviously, that is known for being super, super fucking long. Like, the series is one of the longer anime for sure. In fact, I think it actually might be longer than One Piece, which is insane to think about. The general synopsis is that Shinichi Kudo, who in the English dub was known as Jimmy Kudo, is a young detective. He's fairly young. He's a high schooler. He loves soccer. He has this friend they both have kind of this mutual interest in each other, named Ron Mori or Rachel Moore in the dub. Um, he's basically doing very well for himself, to be honest. One day at an amusement park, though, he ends up getting attacked and drugged by these men in black outfits, and the drug turns him physically into a kid. And at this point, he has to take the identity of I think it's the nephew, I want to say, of this local scientist who he was already friends with prior to all of this, and starts to solve mysteries in order to try and get closer to getting his original body back, as well as solving the mystery of why this happened in the first place. He takes on the name Conan Edogawa, named for two of the greatest mystery writers of all time, Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, the writer of the Sherlock Holmes stories, and Japanese mystery writer Edogawa Ranpo. So, yeah, Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, Edogawa Ranpo, Conan Edogawa. There you go. Now, the series was called Case Closed in the English language, rather than Detective Conan, and honestly, that is what I know it as the most. Growing up, like I said, I watched it on Adult Swim. I don't know why it was on Adult Swim, but it was. And the series was always like one of those shows that's like, oh, this is cool, this is interesting. I like to try and solve these mysteries. I like the characters; they're funny. I like it when Conan uses his watch uh, to put Rachel's father. I can't remember his name right now. Was it Richard? Maybe it was Richard. In the dub, at least. When Conan uses his watch to put him to sleep and then pretends to be him while he's sleeping, like uses a voice thing to like pretend to be him and everything. Um, to solve the mysteries. It was really fun. The series, the big thing with the series is that almost every episode was its own separate case. There might have been two-parters here and there and everything, and there was a bunch of movies as well that were pretty great, at least all the ones I've seen. But each movie, each episode, pretty much all centered around their own thing, their own separate case, and they didn't really have much connecting them. There were small bits of continuity here and there, but it was super episodic. I mean, it probably still is because it is still going. The series is still going. And the manga alone has been going since January of '94. So, geez. Um, but yeah, I don't know if Gosho Aoyama, the creator of Detective Conan, I don't know if that was in the plan from the start to have it be this long. And from what I've heard, because again, as I mentioned, I kind of lost track of it after a point. From what I heard, the mystery of the Men in Black isn't even fully like figured out at this point, which is completely insane. Now, the English dub is what I was most, as I mentioned, what I most knew. But the English dub does not cover the entire series. It kind of just stops at a certain point. Um, and I believe I have seen at least the vast majority of the dub. As for the content after the dub, I don't even know. I don't know. I've seen, I think, a couple of the movies that came out after that time. But as for the series, I don't know even if I got to the end of the dub or not, because it's just so long. Um, but yeah, it's like again, most of it's the same thing, and most of it centers around like Conan having to work with these other characters, from Rachel to her father. There's also this group of kids that he hangs around at points. I don't remember their names for the life of me. I think one of them was George. There's two guys and a girl. Well, there ends up being two girls. One ends up joining later on, and she's in the same situation as Conan. She's also an adult who was drugged to turn into a kid. Um, but yeah, she comes later on. But yeah, there's these kids, and they solve the mystery. They solve their own mysteries as well with Conan. And then there's also other characters that pop in every now and again. Um, my mind's blanking on his name, but uh, Kaito Kid. That's it. Kaito Kid. He's a recurring character. He even had his own spin-off series, which actually had Detective Conan show up at one point as a cameo. Um, and yeah, it's just there's a lot going on, but no real sense of progression or answers. And I think that's the big thing that eventually caused me to lose interest. It's like it wasn't going anywhere. Like even with other really long shows, like the big three, obviously Naruto, Bleach, and One Piece, even they have a sense of progression. They go somewhere. They're continuing on a big story that just keeps getting bigger. It has a sense of progression. But Case Closed didn't. It was just so episodic that it's just I don't know. I don't get it. I don't understand why it's gone on this long. I mean, unless it's just simply for no other reason than because it's popular, which I know it very much is. Um, it's very popular, very well received, and it's just still going. There are 98 current volumes um, released. For the anime, there are 975 episodes currently. So actually, I think that's right around the same, maybe, as One Piece. I'm not 100% sure on that. But there's also a lot of movies and OVAs and stuff. There's also a crossover movie with Lupin the Third. I did see that one, and that one's actually that one's pretty good. I did enjoy that one. But yeah, there's a lot of episodes, and the anime has been running since '96. So it started only 2 years after the manga started. So it's still been running over 20 years, 24 years currently. That's insane. It's insane. Um, but like I said, from what I did see of the series, I very much enjoyed it, and it holds a lot of nostalgia for me. Like I said, I grew up, I watched this all the time, like when I was younger, as a kid. Remember, this anime started in '96. I was born in '92. I was 4 years old when this anime came out. Almost to the day. The anime started on January 8th. My birthday's January 2nd. So, um, yeah, it's just I was 4 years old when this anime started. And I was still very young. Like when I was watching this when it was on Adult Swim in its run on there. And I remember like I would watch it like late at night when it came on, and it's like it was just something I always just enjoyed watching. And it was dark, and the series could get dark. It wasn't like super adult compared to some other anime, but it could get dark, and it had some really dark themes in it. Um, but it's just for some reason I just hooked into it and loved it. And I still look back on it fondly, and every now and again I still check out something from it. It's something that honestly you could say holds a special place in my heart just because it was one of those anime that wasn't necessarily one of the first I saw, but one of the first that I just was really that much into that I just could not stop just loving. And it's again something I'm just not like focused on nowadays, unfortunately. But I mean, it is what it is. You can't really always help that. Um, but yeah, either way, tell me in the comments below what you thought of Case Closed or Detective Conan, however you want to, whatever you want to call it. Tell me your thoughts on all of it. Tell me your thoughts on its episodic nature, on its characters, on its mysteries. Because even despite it being super long and not having any sense of forward progression, it's like the episodes are still quality. It's still good mysteries. Like that's undeniable. At least from what I've seen, mind you. Um, but all of that being said, thank you once again for continuing to tune in. As for what tomorrow's Nostalgia Week video will be, well, I'm not even going to say anything. I think that I can just show you.